Hello and welcome back to Up the Villa podcast. If you are new to our channel, subscribe, drop this video a like and get involved in the comment section down below. So we have to switch our attention now from the Europa Conference League back to the main event, the tried, trusted Premier League that we are still aspiring to be better than what we were last season. So for me, like I said in the season preview, this is the priority. This is the main event for Aston Villa, trying to be better than last season. So it's our first mini test after a European game. How can we recover? How can we react? I think the fact that the game was on a Wednesday and not on a Thursday gives us that extra day recovery, and it was in Scotland, so the travelling wasn't too bad. So I think that should be okay before we start. But, talking a little bit more about Hibs, it was a really dominant, commanding Villa performance with no stress, no drama, just go out, we rock up and play our brand of football. We play our style. We get our philosophy going. We get our core principles, our core values, and we just do them on the pitch and go home and win 5-0. So for me, that was such a pleasing thing to see because, I think fans are right to sometimes be slightly apprehensive about things and maybe bring up Stevenage or bring up poor cup performances in the past, because at times we have let ourselves down in the past, and I think we went pretty full strength and it was a really good performance. And I think taking it seriously is what all Villa fans want us to see in all cup competitions this season, and go for it. And you only get a couple of opportunities as a club, should I say, like we are, to win a trophy. We're not going to win the Premier League. That's pretty obvious because Man City are probably going to walk away with it. So there's only FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Europa Conference League. Those are the opportunities for Aston Villa to try and win a trophy. So to see us taking it so seriously so early on, when we could have made changes, I believe we could have made 3 or 4 changes in that game and we'd have got a result anyway. But to see us go strong, fair play to us. And whenever I watch Villa or whenever I watch the under-23s now, I'm sick. I'm seeing us play with a pattern and a style. And I think every time we go onto the pitch now, I'm starting to see that style on how we play. And I think that's really good, because you go back to sort of like the Barca tiki-taka days, and that whole philosophy ran through the whole club, even like the under-7s. And that's what I want Villa to start to do, and that's how we'll become this football juggernaut. So it's really nice to see us playing the same way week in, week out. Yes, with subtle tweaks here and there, but when Pau Torres gets on the ball and he's waiting and he's waiting for Luca Dean, he might not get that pass to Luca Dean, and then he might pass it into Luis, and then Luis might do a little quick give and go with Kamara, and then Luis is away. There's a ball on the left, whipped in. So I think those patterns of play we're starting to see more and more now, and I think they're really good, and I expect to see more and more of them away at Burnley. And one thing that I would say about the way we play and the way we wait with the ball and wait for the opposition to come on to us is that tactic works a treat away from home, because away from home, if we have the ball and we're stood on the ball and we are waiting and drawing the teams in, what the opposition shouldn't want to do is come at us and press us and want the ball. But when we're away from home, the home team have to sort of come at us, and the home fans get a bit edgy. They were doing it against Hibs. They were getting a bit like, come on, pressing with the ball. As soon as you press us, bang, 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 we're away. So that's what I'm really liking. I'm liking that Luca Dean looks bang on it. Bailey's playing really well at the minute as well. So there's some partnerships growing that are better than last season. I think Luca Dean's playing some of his best football that I've seen him play at Villa. And I think this goes down to coaching, top level coaching. It goes down to pre-season, having a pre-season. Everybody's understanding the way Unai wants to play as well. And I just think we're looking really good now. We're looking better. We're not the finished article. We're going to get better this season. We're going to get better when we get sort of like a Ramsey back and a Moreno back. And, you know, we will grow into the season. But after the blip against Newcastle, I think the last 2 games have been really, really promising. And I think you'll probably get some fans say, yeah, but look who we're playing. But that's not Villa's problem. You can't pick and choose who you play. You've just got to play what's in front of you. So I think what is in front of us, we're actually playing really well against. So yes, there will be tougher tests. There will be tougher European nights to come. There will be tougher Premier League games to come. But the signs are that we are starting to get back to what we were last season. And for me, I think the starting point of what I think we're doing so well is that in possession, we're looking good. We're looking good in possession. We're looking composed. We're starting to see Luis get on it more. We're starting to see the no-look passes, the little swagger, the little jinx. And I think he's starting to get a little bit of Coutinho swagger in his game as well at times. And I think that's only from probably training and working with Coutinho. And I think his game's improved. What I'm liking about Douglas Luiz at the minute is he's surveying his area. He's always looking now. He's looking at where the players are, where the dangers are. And I think that's the sign of a top level Premier League central midfielder, to survey the area, know what's around you, and then he can do a no-look pass or that little drop of the shoulder, a little bit of like a little jink and he's away because he knows the danger. So I think Kamara and Luiz are really complementing each other well. So I think that bodes well for the future and looking forward to the next Premier League games as well. Another annoyance I would say I had from the Hibs game was the omission of Zaniolo. We all expected Zaniolo to start the game. Emery in his pre-match said Zaniolo's ready for the game, and when you saw Zaniolo at the start of the game, you're thinking, what's wrong then? He's not in the squad. Has he got a bug? Is he injured? But then after the game, to find out that he's cup-tied in the qualifier because he's played for Galatasaray in something. So he was cup-tied for yesterday. And my next thought was, oh my days, he's out for the whole thing. But thankfully, he can play in the group stage. So that is why Zaniolo was there but wasn't in the squad. He's cup-tied, but he can play in the next round of this competition, which would be the group stage. So next up, let's talk a little bit about recruitment before we get into Burnley as well. We will get into Burnley. So recruitment, we've seen 2 potential, well, 4 maybe, potential players leaving Aston Villa at the minute. We've got Keenan Davies to Hull. We've got Philogene to Hull, potentially. We've got Ramsey, who has joined Burnley, and Cameron Archer. Rumours from Fabrizio was Sheffield United, but a member of the Archer family put on Twitter yesterday that move was new to them. So we'll have to see what happens with that one. But the Ramsey and the Archer and the Philogene, I think they all are going to have buyback clauses in their contracts. So a couple of you have been asking, like, what are my thoughts on that? So I think I have said my thoughts on it before, but more of you keep asking. So I'll say it again, and then probably won't have to say it again after that. So I think as football fans, sometimes it can be quite frustrating to see youth players leave. I think football fans, Villa fans, football fans in general, I think one of the biggest things that you always like are youth players coming through. There's no better feeling than seeing someone that spent 7 years at Villa make it and get into the first team. Grealish, Ramsey, etc. It's a great feeling. But those players are few and far between. And the whole point of an academy is to nurture talent, find talent, play them as talent, but also maybe make it so it's a profit side of a profit side of your club as well. We see what Chelsea are doing with buying all of their players, but they actually sell their youth players to a really good value. Look at Lewis Hall going to Newcastle. He's gone on loan, probably going to go for about 30 million after that loan spell. So you see them doing it quite well. And I think Villa are trying to do something very similar. Now, what Villa are doing, which is, again, quite clever, is we know that we are okay with FFP. We're okay at the minute. But there may become a time where we are in the red, or we've got to be careful. Look at Wolves, but I think Wolves are recouping a lot of their funds, and I think the owners are going to end up pocketing that money. So we have got to be careful. Man United are in FFP problems at the minute as well. So what I think Villa are doing quite clever is we are basically allowing our youngsters to leave, technically on a loan. Now, when I'm talking about this, they have left on a fee. So Ramsey's left for around £15 million. So Ramsey now plays for Burnley. But what it means now is Aston Villa have a buyback clause on Ramsey. So Burnley are going to nurture, grow, play him in the Premier League. Villa will have an eagle eye to see on how he does, how he plays. If he's absolutely outstanding in the Premier League and tears it up, then we have the potential to buy him back. But what this has done, instead of Burnley having him on loan and just paying half his wages and Villa getting a loan fee, we're actually getting a whole transfer fee, which enables us to negate and make pure profit on that player that has left from our academy. So technically, in essence, we're getting a big fee. Yes, we'd have to buy him back. But for now, right now, in FFP terms, we've made 15 million on the player. Same with Archer. And the other caveat to this is, had Ramsey stayed, he wouldn't have wanted to go on loan to the Championship. We'd have probably sent him on loan to a Premier League club anyway. He's not ready to play in Villa's first team at this moment in time. So to me, it kind of makes sense to do so. Same with Archer. Yes, we're light with strikers, but I just don't think he would feature for Aston Villa. I don't think he would play much this season. You saw against Everton that Duran came on before Archer did. So that tells you, in Unai's thinking, where that pecking order lies. And for Archer and Villa, there's no point having Archer sat on the bench. So to sell Archer with a buyback clause, if he scores loads of goals, we'll buy him back. We're getting 20-odd million. Then you look at Villa's player sales. You've got 20-odd from Ramsey, 20-odd from Archer, 15 from Ramsey, 4 or 5 from Philogene, 2 or 3 from Davis. You've got 20 last season from Chukwuemeka. You've still got the Grealish money still coming in as well. So in FFP terms, that's pure profit. Those are all academy graduates. And the added part is we're not in a position where we're having to sell our best players to stay within the green of FFP. So for me, these deals are savvy and we're boxing clever and we're using everything that we can right now to stay in the right red or green. So, yeah, it's annoying that they're leaving. It's annoying that they're going. But I think from where we are right now, then they are not in a position to play for Villa. So we've got to do what's within our means to enable us to get funds in for FFP. We can't just spend. It doesn't work like that. You have to make sure that it all comes together and works within our remit. So I imagine that he's doing so as well. We've still got Feeney, who's on the bench against Hibs. We've saw Kellyman. We've still got plenty of fantastic youth players. But I always stand by the main point of, if they are good enough, they will play. And that's how I see it. I trust Unai Emery 110%. You'll get people that are saying, we've got 2 goalkeepers on the bench, we should have some youngsters. But if they're not going to play, there's no point. And that's what Unai said last season about having the goalkeepers on the bench. He's only going to put players on the bench that are prepared and believes that they can play their part. So I trust Unai. I trust everything that they're doing. And I think it's really clever, savvy business from Aston Villa. You know, how many gone are the days of years and years ago when we was in the Premier League, even before we got relegated, and we'd have loan players and everybody would just be like, but they're not our players. We're developing players that aren't our players. We don't want to do that. But now we're doing the same thing. Clubs are developing our players to get us ready for when we need them. So I think it's clever from Villa, and I really like it. So those are my thoughts. And as I've said on Aaron Ramsey, I've done an episode on Turfcast, the Burnley podcast, and they were asking me about him. And I just basically said, he was asking me, well, where could he play and is he ready? And I said, it's a development one with Ramsey. I think company's going to have to nurture him a little bit. He's going to have to bed him in. He's going to have to give him the right opportunities, because I don't think he can just walk straight in and start playing games. I think he's got to develop a little bit as well. And under company, that's a really good young coach to develop under as well. So I think that's a good move for Ramsey. So let's move on to Burnley then. I'm impressed with Burnley. I like Burnley. I think if you think of the narrative of Burnley, if you think of a subconscious Burnley, what's coming into your head? Sean Dyche. It's changed. It's really changed at Burnley, and it's an exciting club. They are really exciting, coached by company, a young coach who has done really well. You know, he was okay at Anderlecht. To play that type of football in the Championship and get him promoted at a canter was absolutely amazing. So fair play to Burnley. They're in a really good place at the minute. They've got new owners. So everything feels like an upward trajectory, a little bit like the Villa vibe. I imagine that they are really excited with their new owners and the vision and the vibe of where they're going. They do play good football. They're a team that want to keep the possession of the football. They play out from the back. So it's going to be an exciting season for them. I do think it is going to be a slight struggle at times. And that's only because of the way the Premier League is. I think Burnley are going to finish about 15th this season. And I think 15th will be a good season. They may be in and around 12th, 13th, 14th at times. And then maybe, but I just don't see them being involved in a massive, massive dogfight at the bottom. I think they play some really good stuff, and I think they are a better footballing side than some. I would probably say they're a better footballing side than Luton, Sheffield, Everton, Forest. So maybe Fulham. I think Fulham are struggling at the minute as well. So I think Fulham are going to struggle this season. So I think they will do okay. I think there will be some tough moments for company this season, in the sense of if results don't go their way and they have those little consistency blips, do they stick to how they're playing, or do they revert to a different type of football? Maybe that might be a slight problem for them if they do have a little bit of a sticky patch. But I think they'll be okay. I think they've got a good squad. I think they've got some good players. I think Company's a good coach. I think he is adaptable. So I've only got good things to say about Burnley, and I think it's going to be a tough game for them on Sunday, because I think what they would have wanted was to get that Man City game out of the way, to get some points on the board against Luton, and then start getting some consistency and some momentum. If you look at their time since they got promoted, it's been a bit stop-start. You look at their pre-season, it started early June, I think it started. It might have started late May, but you know, they were back in, then they were out, they had a break, then they were back in, then they've had a Premier League game against City, then they've had a week or two. It'll have been about 2 weeks since they've played. They played a closed doors game against Manchester United and won 3-0. So that means that they are getting some sort of game time, but it's not the same as Premier League level ready football. And I think newly promoted teams, I think there is that slight adaptation period to the pace of it, the physicality, the intensity. So I think the fact that they haven't played, and Villa will have played 3 competitive games since they played. We'd have played Newcastle after they played City, Everton and Hibs. I think Villa will be like in sort of like a good place to sort of go and just rock up and play. And I think Burnley will still take that little bit of time to get into it. But that's, not being said that I think it's going to be an easy game. I think it's going to be a difficult game. All away games are difficult. 2 teams that want to keep hold of possession of the ball. I think we are slightly the better team. So I think we might be able to impose ourselves, and they might be able to try and hit us on the break in transition as well. So I think it's going to be a good game, an exciting game, hopefully. I think we are full of confidence now. We've got Bailey firing, Luca Dean firing, the midfield's looking good. Watkins, 3 goals. That was one of our biggest away European victories since, I think it was Valor when we won the European Cup. So we haven't beat teams 5-0 away from home in Europe many times. So, and I think he's in esteemed company. Watkins with his hat-trick in Europe as well. So he's now in amongst the goals, confident, firing. Again, doesn't matter who those goals are against. Look at Harry Kane for England. Most of these goals are against San Marino and teams like that. So it doesn't matter who you score against. Like I say, it's not our problem who we're playing against. You just got to score the goals, win the games, and go from there. So, yeah, that's the Burnley vibe. If we do have a little look then at some of the numbers from the games that we've played against Burnley. So we haven't played each other that many times. We've had more draws than victories. Villa have got 3 wins, 2 away, and Burnley have got 1 home win and 1 away win. This is our last 3 games. So we've had a 3-2 loss. I remember that one. We've had a 3-1 victory and a 1-1. This was how Burnley lined up in their last game against Manchester City. Amdouni, I thought, was really bright. Josh Cullen's one of their best midfield players. Not sure on Sanderberg. I've watched him for Sheffield United, and I've watched him in the Championship again. And I think he's struggled to get back to that level of where he was when he was last in the Premier League. So I'm not sure on him at all. And then, they played 5 at the back. Do they change their system because they're up against Villa at home, or are they going to stick with that? That's yet to be seen. This was their average positions from their game against Manchester City. I mean, you can't read too much into it. I haven't really got loads of data from Burnley because they've only played 1 game and it was against Man City. So you can't really read too much from it. This is their stats from who scored. Their strengths are protecting the lead. I think this has been probably a little bit harsh on them, to be fair, but their weakness is keeping possession of the ball, finishing, scoring chances, avoiding fouling dangerous areas, defending against attacks down the wings. So that should potentially give us some joy with Bailey and Luca Dean. Aerial duels, defending of set pieces, which I do think that is a weakness of theirs. We will go into that more in the predicted lineup. We'll go into more detail on their style, how they play, what they like to do. But defending of set pieces is a massive weakness for Burnley. Their style of play is attack down the right and the left, long balls, playing their own half, and they have a consistent first 11. So those are their strengths and weaknesses. We have our predicted lineup, which will be out tomorrow. We'll go into more detail, predict the Villa lineup. We'll see what their strengths and weaknesses are. Then we have our opposition preview with Turfcast. So we'll be finding out all of their strengths, and we'll be seeing what the club's like, what the vibe's like at Burnley as well. I expect it to be a open game at times, and then I expect it to be quite possession-based, quite competitive at times. But I do think we have enough to win this game. So I'm going to go with a 2-1 Villa victory. So Villa fans, let me know your score predictions in the comment section down below. Drop your thoughts on this episode as well. And smash a like and subscribe to the channel. Up the Villa.